Let's talk about India, and specifically the year 2025. It's not just another year on the calendar. You can think of it as a real turning point. It's the moment when a whole new national blueprint for the future really starts to lock into place. Today, we're going to unpack that exact story of transformation, how a nation is fundamentally shifting its entire course. All right, let's get right into it. For as long as most of us can remember, India has been one of the world's biggest customers for military gear. But in 2025, that started to change, and fast. The country made a huge strategic pivot, really, from being a buyer to being a builder. We're going to explore how that one decision is creating ripples, not just in the military, but across technology, policy, and, well, the whole of society. So, how in the world do you even start a shift this massive? Well, it has to begin with a clear, powerful message right from the very top. Let's take a look at the policies that are laying the groundwork for this new chapter. At the heart of all of this is one core idea, Atmanirbhar Bharat, which translates to self-reliant India. And look, this is so much more than a catchy slogan. It's a full-blown national policy. The goal is to build up critical industries right at home, make sure supply chains can handle any global shocks, and, cut down the dependency on other countries for the really important stuff. And to give that policy some real muscle, the Ministry of Defense basically declared 2025 as the year of reforms. This wasn't just talk. It was the government signaling to everyone, okay, it's time to hit the accelerator. On everything, modernization, changing how things are done, and getting projects finished. This declaration is really the engine behind all the changes we're about to see. Okay, so let's see what this mandate actually looks like on the ground, starting with the big one, defense. This is where that shift from just buying things to actually creating them becomes super, super clear. What's really striking here isn't just the new ships and subs, it's the speed and the sophistication of it all. Just look at the Indian Navy's new fleet. You've got INS Surat, a top-of-the-line destroyer. And get this, 75% of its parts were made in India. Then there is INS Himgiri, a stealth frigate. And maybe most important of all, INS Aradhaman, the country's second homegrown nuclear-powered submarine. I mean, this isn't just about adding a few ships, it's about building the whole ecosystem that can create them from the ground up. And this right here is the moment it all crystallizes. In July 2025, the frigate INS Tamil officially joins the fleet. Now, it's a great ship, but its real importance? It's symbolic. It is officially the last major warship India will import. From this point forward, the Navy's future is being built in its own shipyards. That's a huge statement. And it's not just at sea. Take a look at the country's missile tech. The Pralay missile is a perfect example of this homegrown innovation. It's not your typical ballistic missile. Its killer feature, the thing that makes it so dangerous, is its ability to change its flight path after it's been launched. That makes it incredibly hard to track and shoot down, giving India a powerful way to strike key targets without having to even think about the nuclear option. Now, this is super important. This whole transformation isn't just the government doing everything. The private sector is now a key strategic partner, which is a major change from the past when it was all state-owned companies. Now you've got giants like L&T building Navy ships, specialized firms creating cutting-edge anti-drone tech, and even startups like Pixel Space taking the lead on commercial satellites. This public-private teamwork is a huge part of the new strategy. So all these individual pieces, the ships, the missiles, the partnerships, are all designed to fit into a much bigger picture. In 2025, Mission Sudarshan Chakra was announced. It's this incredibly ambitious decade-long plan. The goal? To create a complete, multi-layered, and totally homegrown air and missile defense shield, an Iron Dome, if you will, to protect the entire country from any threats from the sky. But listen, this whole story of self-reliance isn't just about military hardware. That same spirit of innovation is being used to solve the unique problems that come with serving over 1 billion people. So let's look at the tech. 22. Now, why is that one single number so powerful? Well, because in a country with such incredible linguistic diversity, technology that only speaks 1 or 2 languages just doesn't work. It leaves hundreds of millions of people out of the loop. The new Bharat Gen AI model was built to fix that exact problem. And here it is, Bharat Gen. It's India's answer in the global AI race, but with a very specific, very important mission. It's built to be multimodal, so it gets text, speech, and images across all of the nation's 22 official languages. Developed by the brilliant minds at IIT Bombay, this is a piece of foundational tech for building a digital future that includes everyone. All right, here's another number for you that signifies a massive jump forward: 6 kilometers.
That's the resolution of the new Bharat forecast system. To put that into perspective, that is an unheard of level of detail for a national weather model. We're talking about the difference between a weather forecast for an entire city and a forecast for one specific village. For millions of farmers and for managing disasters, that is an absolute game changer.
This whole period has just been marked by a string of major national firsts. India became only the fourth country in the world to master the incredibly complex tech of docking two spacecraft together in orbit. On the environmental front, it kicked off the huge Aravali Green Wall Initiative. That's a 700-kilometer-long reforestation project. And in medicine, it developed its first ever homegrown antibiotic to fight the growing threat of drug resistance. It's the sheer breadth of these accomplishments that's really remarkable. So, when a nation starts building its own advanced weapons, creating its own unique technology, and rolling out new policies, how does that change how it behaves on the world stage? Let's dig into India's new global playbook. You can literally see the evolution in foreign policy right here. On the left, that's Sagar, the old doctrine. It was focused on India's immediate neighborhood, the region. Now look to the right, Mahasagar. The name itself is bigger, and so is the ambition. The scope expands from region to regions, plural. The focus is now global, with a real push to build partnerships all across the global south. It's a very clear signal of a shift from being a regional player to a global one. And this isn't just theory, right? It's happening in the real world. A high-level state visit from the president of Paraguay in June 2025 might not sound like front-page news, but get this. It was only the second time in history a visit like that had ever happened. It's a small but tangible sign that India is actively out there, building new bridges and strengthening ties with partners far beyond its usual circles, in places like South America. But, and this is really important, we have to maintain some perspective. This 2025 scorecard is that dose of reality. On the one hand, yeah, India is a military powerhouse, fourth in firepower globally, and it has pretty strong logistics. But on the other hand, you can see these deep, difficult domestic challenges like corruption and hunger are still very much there. It really highlights the two sides of this journey: incredible, rapid progress paired with huge challenges that still need to be solved. So with that scorecard fresh in our minds, let's look to the future. What does the road ahead look like? Well, it seems to be a story of balancing these massive ambitions with some pretty complex realities on the ground. Looking forward, one of the biggest drivers of the future is going to be the green economy. And the numbers here are just staggering. Projections are showing the potential for over 7 million new green jobs in just a few short years. By 2030, the whole sector could be worth $1 trillion. And on the long road to net zero emissions, maybe 15 trillion. So this isn't just an environmental goal, it's a core pillar of India's future economic strength. And that really brings us to the fundamental question at the heart of this entire transformation we've been talking about. This whole blueprint is about self-reliance, about building your own future. But we all live in a deeply, deeply interconnected world. So the real challenge, the question that will define the next chapter is this. As India forges its own path, how does it walk that tightrope between becoming a self-sufficient powerhouse and staying an open, engaged, and interdependent global partner?